In the tumultuous times of the 6th century, when plagues ravaged Europe and the authority of the Roman Church was challenged, there emerged a pope who not only led the Church through turbulent times, but also left an indelible mark on its doctrine, liturgy, and spirituality. His name, Saint Gregory the Great. Born in Rome around the year 540, Gregory hailed from a noble family. His father was a descendant of the Roman Emperor Augustus, and his mother a member of the influential Anicius clan. Given his noble lineage, Gregory could have aspired to a life of luxury and privilege. But from an early age, he showed a different path, a path of humility and service. Before he was ordained as a priest, he lived as a monk, devoting his life to prayer, study, and the care of the poor. When he was 50, he was elected Bishop of Rome, the Pope, almost against his will. The papacy was a position of temporal power in those days, and Gregory, who considered himself unworthy, resisted the call. But the persistent pleas of his fellow bishops and the desire to serve God eventually led him to accept. Thus began the papacy of one of the most remarkable bishops in the history of the Catholic Church. Gregory's first concern was the spiritual renewal of the Church and its clergy. He realized that the effectiveness of any administration depended on the holiness of its chief servant. So while continuing the work of his predecessors in restoring order and discipline within the Church, he also introduced far-reaching reforms aimed at improving the spiritual life of both clergy and laity. He was a master of pastoral care, writing hundreds of letters, some to individual priests, others to entire communities, all offering guidance, comfort, and correction. His book, The Pastoral Rule, addressed to his friend Bishop Deusdedit, became a classic, a manual not just for bishops, but for all priests entrusted with the care of souls. Another area where Gregory excelled was in his promotion of the liturgy and the arts. He saw the importance of beauty and order in worship and in life. He commissioned the construction of magnificent churches, such as the Basilica of St. Paul outside the walls, and he enriched the liturgy with new hymns and chants. Gregorian chant, in fact, is named after him. It was during his papacy that the famous hymn Lec mich im Bussen was composed, and he introduced the use of incense in the Catholic Church, believing that it would help the faithful to make their worship more prayerful and reverent. His impact on the liturgy was immense, shaping it in such a way that it would remain the model for centuries to come. Saint Gregory also made significant contributions to the development of the church calendar, introducing new feasts and transferring the celebration of certain saints' days to more appropriate dates. Perhaps one of the greatest legacies of Saint Gregory the Great is the missionary work he initiated, especially in England. At the time, England was a predominantly pagan country, and Gregory saw an urgent need to bring the light of Christ to this part of Europe. He sent a band of monks, including the renowned Saint Augustine of Canterbury, to be the first English mission. Under Gregory's guidance, these missionaries would play a pivotal role in converting Anglo-Saxon England, laying the foundation for what would become the Church of England. Throughout his papacy, Gregory faced numerous challenges. He dealt with the threat of the Lombards, who were trying to conquer Italy, and with internal disputes within the Church. Yet he navigated these troubled waters with wisdom and determination. He was a man of deep prayer, and his piety was an example to all who knew him. Despite the pressures of his office, he never neglected his spiritual duties. Gregory the Great was called the Great, not because of any worldly power or achievement, but because of his extraordinary humility and his boundless devotion to God's people. He described himself as the servant of the servants of God. This title, a stark reminder of his belief that he was merely a humble servant of the greater Lord, is still used by popes today. He died in 604, having served the Church for 14 years. His tomb, a modest one in the Roman Forum, is now lost beneath the altar of the Confessio di San Gregorio. But his legacy lives on in the hearts of millions of Christians around the world. He remains an iconic figure, a beacon of holiness, reform, and missionary zeal. As we remember Saint Gregory the Great today, let us also remember his timeless message: True leadership is found in service. Holiness is found in humility. And God can raise up great saints even in times of crisis.